What's up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. I'm Angele Altieri. If this is your first time here, and welcome to the video. Today I'm filming a chit chat. Get ready with me as I talk about and react to Manny and Laura's new podcast, Full Coverage. Give my thoughts, comments, concerns, feelings, issues with the podcast. Do I like it? Do I not like it? All that. So if you're interested in that, if you're interested in Manny, if you're interested in Laura, if you're interested in me, then you know the deal, you know the drill, and you know the vibes. Let's get it. So let me just touch on my history of watching Manny Mue and Laura Lee. So I started watching Manny and Laura back in 2016. How did I find them? I started watching YouTube in 2016 when I first started college because my boyfriend was constantly watching YouTube videos. And I was like, okay, well, let me find some stuff I want to watch. And I think Laura was actually the first person I found. How? I have no idea. I think it was just on my recommended, like on my homepage. So I started watching her, and she was very much into makeup, only makeup at that time. And she was friends with Manny, of course, so she had some videos with Manny. Her videos with Manny is how I started watching him, obviously. I went to his channel, and he was doing makeup as well. And they were friends with none other than Jeffree Star, who I used to watch also, but I don't watch them anymore. But I was watching them religiously. Tati as well. She was in a video of theirs at the time. So I started watching Tati from them also. Everything basically stemmed from Laura Lee, which is quite interesting. Who I am now, I wouldn't have expected Laura to be the first person I watched, but she was. That's introducing her little subscriber song. So yeah, she had her subscriber song, and everyone was doing makeup. That's when everybody was going on brand trips. At the time, I was still just only watching them, and then Jacqueline kind of came into play, and then I started rolling into a bunch of different YouTubers. Right? When did Dramageddon happen? So Dramageddon happened in 2018. I was watching at the time Manny, Laura. I think at the time I was watching Gabriel whenever, he actually decided to post something, because he never posted anything ever. I was not that into Nikita because she wasn't really doing makeup videos. So I was like, I'm not too into her content. I was just strictly into makeup videos. And what else? Jeffree, I think maybe Shane Dawson as well. Any docu-series he was doing, I was watching. So that covers everyone who was in Dramageddon. And then it happened, and it was just so strange. It was around the time Jeffree's docu-series came out. Shane Dawson series of Jeffree Star. Like, getting to know more about Jeffree Star. Whatever. I watched that whole thing. And the picture came out that Gabriel posted a stupid caption that got everyone into some trouble. And it was just so unnecessary. Then people dug up stuff about Laura Lee. People dug up stuff about Manny Mue. Gabriel tried to drag Manny through the mud, calling him a bad friend. It was crazy, guys. It was absolutely crazy. I wasn't picking sides because at the time I was still watching everyone involved. Well, not Gabriel. Was that was Dramageddon one? Yeah. that Gabriel and Manny stopped being friends. I stopped watching Gabriel because I thought he was really shady for that. And Laura, she had some allegations against her. Well, there were tweets brought up that she wrote that I didn't like and I didn't approve of. Not that I need to approve of anything, but she wrote tweets that should not have said. So yeah, Laura had some tweets that I definitely don't approve of, didn't like, didn't appreciate, but I understand that some people grow up in certain areas and are surrounded by certain ideologies that they just don't know better until they actually see the world for what it is. They get out into the real world. And I think that was the case with Laura. She just was stupid and didn't know any better. And I feel like throughout the last few years, she's really grown and showed, hey, I was just a dumb kid. I really don't think that way. I don't feel that way. And I appreciate the growth she's had. So I've personally decided to continue to support her because people can learn, people can grow, people make mistakes. It's just about what you do after the mistake. And I think she has proven to be better. As for Manny, I really think Manny was just being dragged for being a bad friend. And that's no one's business how you are as a friend. Not that it's no one's business, because as viewers, we like to know or think that whoever we're watching supporting is someone we support, even in their personal lives, like how they conduct themselves in personal relationships and whatnot. But I don't know, I just feel Gabriel was like butthurt on Manny, like over Manny, and it's like, dude, get over it. Like, don't be spilling that kind of personal beans on the internet. That's no one else's business but between you guys. And not everyone knows that. I just thought that was insane and unnecessary. So I didn't like that. I can't recall if there was anything that came out about Manny in tweets. I feel like there was, but I don't recall that. But for someone to be dragged over how they are as a friend, I didn't think that was right, and I didn't think that that was something he should be canceled for. Like, I thought that was so stupid. So I just stayed in support of Manny after that because I thought he was being canceled for no good reason. I'm still not the biggest fan of Gabriel, especially after the second drama with Tati. Woo, honey. But we'll get into that. We'll get into that. Or will we? Will we? I don't know. So yeah, on their first podcast, they talked about Dramageddon and how like it really affected them, and I could really see that. We could see their social blades crash, but also just you could see their energies and how upset they were by everything, especially Manny. He went through a really tough time, and I feel bad. I really feel bad for Manny. Laura, you know, it could be touch and go in that situation, but I really feel like Manny got the short end of the stick, and Gabriel came out like on top, even though it was his fault because he had some stupid caption that he had no business writing, should not have said. In terms of what they said about Dramageddon, you know, they didn't hash out any old feelings. They didn't drag anyone. They had nothing to say about Jeffree, even though they're not friends with him. So I think, you know, they were in really good class with how they discussed Dramageddon without making it seem like they're bringing up old things again. Because sometimes people will go on a podcast, bring something up, and be very negative about it and start coming at people again. I feel like Trisha Paytas has done that, or like Gabby Hanna. has done that. It's like, okay, you didn't have to do all that. I feel like they just brought it up in terms of what it did to them, and they really only spoke on themselves. So I thought that was really nice of them, really professional. Even though some people would want that kind of tea, but you know, they're staying out of the drama as much as they can. Now, when it gets to drama getting into, I was watching Tati at this time, was not watching James. I've never got into James Charles. I've never got into the James Charles craze. I watched one or two of his videos. I just can't watch him. I can't listen to him. And yes, it is the way he speaks. I don't like the way he speaks, and that's just a personal taste. That's completely me. And that's fine that I feel that way. It's my feelings. I'm entitled to them. I just never liked James Charles, and I just felt like he was really stuck up. I don't know. There's just always something about him that I was like, I'm not a fan of this person. Even though, yes, I don't know him, but I could still not be a fan of someone I don't know. And that's okay. Those are my opinions. Those are my opinions, my feelings. I'm entitled to that. But I really was a fan of Tati. I watched all her videos, and she posted a lot of videos at this time. Now, in terms of the actual drama, what started it all, I did see Petermon post the video of him posting the gummy bears, the vitamin bears. Damn, what is that brand called? What is that brand called, you guys? I forgot. I just forgot. And then Tati got upset. Tati got butthurt. Should she have gotten so butthurt? I don't think so. I don't think she needed to get so butthurt to make a video like that, but she did. And what are you gonna do about it? It is what it is. Things happen, right? She was really bold and brave to call it Bi Sisters. I think that was really amusing. It was amusing to me. I'm not gonna lie. Call it Bi Sisters. That was bold for her. That was bold. And she's an older woman, and she really went for it. I mean, as a friend, you would expect your friends to post your products, and James never did that. I feel like others did post Halo Beauty, but not her. Tati and James seem to be very, very close. He traveled for her birthday, all that. They seem to be like really, really good friends. So you would think that, yeah, he would post her products and encourage people to buy her products instead of another brand's. But alas, he did not do that, and that really put a fire under her to expose him for who he was. And it wasn't just that, you know, to get a woman to that level, a lot of things have to happen behind the scenes. Oh gosh. Boo. If I were her, would I have done it? No, but it is what it is. I stood on her side. What else? The whole Jeffree thing happened. Gabriel Zamora really dug a hole because he was inserting himself into drama he had no business being in. There's still allegations being, you know, said about James, why this is the whole thing why I continue to not like James Charles. And then in the podcast, because we're here to talk about Manny and Laura's podcast, they brought up how like the likes of Shane Dawson have serious allegations against him. Like, it's not just YouTube drama, it's serious things. And they failed to mention how James Charles had serious allegations against him. I don't know why so many influencers are not talking about him, still following him, because whoa, it's not just one, it's not just two, it's not just three, not four, not five. It's a couple of people, and I understand some people are just saying things or just to cause drama, cause a stir and commotion. But all those people doing that, that's pretty insane, dude. See, I didn't like how they didn't mention James. I'm like, no one's mentioning James. Like, those are pretty serious allegations, and allegations I really, really, really don't like to hear. And I find it very suspicious. He's my age, by the way. Would I see myself? I'm 23. He's what, 22? Would I see myself with anyone in high school? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. But I don't know. The whole James thing is a whole nother story. It's a whole nother video. If anyone cared about it from me, because I'm sure there's hundreds and hundreds of videos on that guy. But we don't need to get into that into detail. I just find it strange that they focus on the seriousness of Shane Dawson, which is absolutely disgusting. That guy is disgusting to me. I will never watch him again. Um, but they just give James a pass. Like, why are we giving James a pass? Like, damn. What's wrong with people? What is wrong with people? That really, really bothered me, and I was so disappointed because really no one's saying anything about it, and here they go talking about Dramageddons, and they don't mention like the most problematic person. You know? Like the most problematic people on YouTube, Trisha Paytas, James Charles, Shane Dawson. Um, I find Gabby Hanna very problematic, but she doesn't have enough clout to be called the biggest controversy on YouTube. David Dobrik also. They mentioned David Dobrik. Like you mention him, but you won't mention this kid. That bothered me. That bothered me a lot. I also wanted to talk about their second episode because I'm just going to review the first and second since it came out, where they talked about brand trips. And like I said, I started watching them when they were this eyebrow hair. They were going on brand trips all the time, and it was pretty insane. Like as a person on the outside looking in, yes, they look so amazing. Wow, oh my gosh, wish I was there. But they talked about the other end of it, what it's really like being on those brand trips, and it was really eye opening. And it made you think more of influencers, not just regular influencers, but people, working people as well. Because yes, they get the luxury of going on these nice trips, but nothing is free in life. You know what I mean? Nothing's free. Everything comes at a price. Everything is an expense, a cost, which you would expect. I mean, these brands are sending you on nice trips. Of course, they want something from you. Just feel like, I don't know, there are pros and cons to everything. It's interesting how a lot of people now will say, I'm not going on a brand trip unless I'm being paid. And I'm really interested on what they would want to be paid. Because keep in mind, you're still getting all expenses paid to be on this trip. Even though you are getting, even though you are having to do work, it's just, I don't know. I just don't know because those trips are expensive. A trip to Bora Bora, like, just not cheap. That is not cheap whatsoever. That's not something a regular person can book on their own. And it could take years for someone to afford a trip like that. So I don't know. What do you guys think about brand trips? Because I'm speaking on the side of a viewer, a watcher, a subscriber, a follower. So yeah, I'm just talking from the perspective of someone not on the trip. I'm also a business student, so I don't know, to pay for someone's trip or all these people's trip and have to pay them, I would probably just stop doing brand trips. I mean, with COVID, they did stop, but I wouldn't resume any brand trips if people were asking to be paid, depending on how much, they wanted to be paid, because you could just do sponsor videos and leave it at that instead of doing the whole trip. I really don't think brands will be doing any more brand trips. I think they'll keep it at, the dinners or the parties, the launch parties. But I think we've seen the last of the brand trips, because it's not economically efficient for them to pay for people to come on the trip and pay them to be on the trip. So they got what they needed with the brand trips as long as they could. But now that people understand, hey, I should be getting paid for that because I'm working there, yeah, no, we're just not going to do the brand trips anymore. That's what I think is going to happen. They'll just keep it at the parties. Then people come to party. So now that I've talked about like the topics they discuss and my response to those topics, let me talk about they themselves in terms of this podcast. They're working upstairs, so if you can hear that, my deepest condolences. I'm so sorry. Oh, I should have put that in the mic. That was a nice sound. If you don't know Manny and Laura, you don't watch Manny and Laura. They're really funny people. I love their friendship. They're just regular people who happen to have some internet fame and a good amount of followers, people that are interested in them. But they really, really are funny. I feel like they're people I would be friends with in real life. Laura reminds me a lot of my best friend Maya. Like very, very sarcastic and funny. I don't know. She just reminds me of someone I already know and love being with. So I feel like I could be friends with Laura Lee, and Manny is just another one that I love his energy. I love his character. I think he's so funny. I would definitely be his friend. In real life, I would actually love to be his friend. I would love to be both of their friends. They're very real, they're very honest, and you could tell they're not internet friends, which I don't like that phrase. I don't like to just call people internet friends. But you can tell they're not faking it. They're not putting on a show. They're not posting each other just so people are more interested in them or they get more views. They're not using each other. And I love that. I love that about them. They have a true friendship that they just so happen to let everyone else in on at times. Whenever they feel like they want people to be let in. And they keep some things private. They keep some things public. It's all up to them. I really do like their friendship. I think it's really nice. I think it's beautiful that they were able to meet off of YouTube and off the internet, but sustain a real life friendship. You know what I mean? I think that's really nice. I love them. I think they're really funny. They remind me of me and my friends where you just sit around and talk crap. I do really love their advice portion. The advice we should not be giving, because that's something I would do. That's something I would say. And they're real. They give their real life thoughts and feelings on certain things. So that's really nice. And when they read people's secrets, like when they read the secret about the girl cheating, I think the girl was cheating on her husband, and Laura was like, oh my gosh, girl, don't do that. I think it's really good. The podcast has funny, it has seriousness, there's some informative segments, lifestyle, advice, chit chat. It has everything you need if that's what you're looking for. If that's what you're looking for. I don't know what else they could come out with. I don't know what else I would want to see from them either. But I mean, with with the stuff they're talking about very YouTube specific things. And I don't know, like, I don't know how far they could go with this kind of orientation of topics. That's a pretty quick look. I wrote down like some things I would want to see from them, perhaps. Like, they're brand owners. I'd like to hear about what it's like being a brand owner. If, like, this is kind of in the tracks of what they're discussing already, or what they've been discussing, but being a brand owner, what that's like, what it entails, or just how they started their business, maybe what it's like for their family, what it's been like, what were their first reactions to them becoming YouTubers versus like how are their families active in their channels and businesses now. I also think this would be an interesting topic of if they weren't makeup YouTubers, even though Laura is focusing more on lifestyle, but what niche would they be in on YouTube instead? Do you know what I mean? They could be in lifestyle like Laura is now, but you know, speaking about Manny, cooking YouTube, educational YouTube, like I don't know, teaching about science or history. What's that? The murder mysteries or unsolved mysteries? Would they do story times about their life? What would they be doing on YouTube if they weren't doing makeup? Gaming? Would they game? A reactions channel? Like Manny could react to new animes? I don't know. What would they be doing? Can I just tell you guys the podcast I love to watch? I only watch 2 podcasts because I don't know. It's just I just stumbled upon it. If you guys know Impractical Jokers, then you know Salvacano. I think it's because I was watching Impractical Joker clips that they recommended me this podcast on YouTube. It's called Hey Babe. This is the one I started with. Hey Babe, with Chris Stefano. If you don't know Chris Stefano, he was on Guy Code. They're both comedians, right? They both do their own shows. They created a podcast together called Hey Babe, and they literally talk about random things. There's no rhyme or reason to what they talk about. They just sit down. They have a list of topics they might want to discuss. They go from there. There's lots of story times. They live crazy lives, you know, growing up in the 80s or the 90s. Crazy times. A lot of those people have wild stories. And it's just so funny to watch. It's so funny to watch. That's my kind of humor. If you really like Impractical Jokers, you die laughing at that show, you might really be into the podcast. If not, then I don't know. Give it a try. I highly recommend it. Just give it a shot, see if you like it. Salvacano has another podcast with Joe DeRosa called Taste Buds, where they like put polls out on okay, but they put polls up on Twitter of this versus that with food, like Auntie Anne's versus Cinnabon, ketchup versus mayo, Pepsi versus Coke, or no, Sprite versus Coke, Oreos versus Chips Ahoy, a ton of things. Like they have a lot of videos out now by now. And it's so funny. They just sit down battling out the foods, which is better. And at the end they declare who won the battle. And it's so funny. I love it so much. And that's another really, really funny podcast. I love it oh so much. I've watched every single episode of both podcasts because they're on the same channel, YouTube channel, the No Press Network, I think it's called. No Press. Okay, just line my lips. And I'm gonna put on my lipstick from Dominique Cosmetics. Alright, so makeup's on and done. I'm wearing Aries lashes from Lunar Beauty. These are super dramatic for me. But that's it. That's the end of this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Very chatty. Don't know how I'm going to edit this. Yeah, that's it. Let me know your thoughts on the podcast down below. Will you be watching them? Have you? What's your thoughts? What's your thoughts on Manny and Laura? Always be kind in the comments down below. I don't like bullies. I don't like rude people. So yeah, but let me know down below your thoughts on the podcast. If you like this video, hit the like button down below, comment, subscribe to my channel, hit the bell notification if you're feeling froggy. I post all the time. If you like me and you like this video, share it to a friend, one friend, all your friends, Instagram, Twitter, and link all my social media down below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope to catch you in the next one.